What's up, everyone? Marc Lobliner, TigerFitness.com, CEO, MTS Nutrition, as well as Exos trainer and that level 1 CrossFit trainer. Oh, man. You know what? I just applied to have our gym in Ohio become a CrossFit affiliate gym. Thinking of getting a rig in there. Of course, Body Solid will be the manufacturer of it. You know, Body Solid did my home gym. FitnessFactory.com, coupon code Lobliner, gets you 5% off. They're just my boys, man. Everybody's like, oh, man, you're in bed with Body Solid. Nah, dude, these are my boys. Like, I've known them since 2000. My brother's had his gym since 2001, I think, in his house, his home gym. I used to have one. I actually left it in North Carolina. I didn't bring it with me when I moved because it costs so much to move all that weight. But, man, I love that equipment. Anyway, here's the Q&A, man. As you know, it's on my Facebook page, facebook.com/Marc Lobliner. Top sticky post. I'm currently on the road traveling. I'm in Queens, New York, right outside of JFK Airport at the Garden Inn. If you guys want to come say hi, please don't do it. Essentially, I have a business meeting tonight at 7:30, and after that, I am going to be, I have a day tomorrow. I'm 12 to 6 p.m. in store. All your questions, I'll be there hanging out, giving hugs, shaking hands, kissing babies, and just being there for you guys because you're the reason we're in business. And at 6 p.m., we head on over to the Coliseum Gym, and that's where we're going to do some heavy deadlifts and back. And it's going to be a hell of a time, and I can't wait to spend time with you guys. And this is what I do. You know, I only travel, I'm only gone for one total day usually. I drop in, drop out, and I get as much family time as possible, while balancing the fact that I need to be there to represent my companies. But thankfully, with social media, I'm able to answer a lot of questions here, and I don't need to travel as much. For those of you in Australia, I apologize. I will not be going to Australia in August. Some things came up internally with business. Very good things, but I cannot leave town for 3 weeks and miss 3 weeks of work, and to that I apologize. But luckily, you guys can reach me on all forms of social media, from Instagram to Facebook to YouTube to whatever it is. Another thing I'd like to address is some people say in some videos that I've lost size. I'm still around 240 pounds. Maybe I'm just not getting the right angles or photoshopping enough like the rest of the social media stars out there. But I'll be sure to try and get better angles and pump up and do push-ups before these. You guys got to realize I don't make my money on social media. I don't make my money look in a certain way. Unfortunately, I'm not the greatest looking guy. I understand that. I've really come a long way with my facial hair, though. I think it's really nice. My hair is always on point, my fade. But I realize that I'm not... you know, I'm not Paige Hathaway, and I'm not a freak like Rich Piana, and unfortunately I have to make money with this right here. So what I do a lot is behind the scenes. So if me not being a certain size disappoints you guys, it's not because I'm off of TRT. It's not because I lost my drug source. It's not because whatever somebody will say. I mean, people talk shit every damn day, it seems. But, you know, it is what it is. Anyway, from Jevnikar, we're going to start this out again. I don't read these beforehand. I don't know what's on the questions. It's just like sitting down and having a fireside chat with me. Some good old Garden Inn. Garden Inn has Keurigs in the hotel room. I love it. I got some MTS Whey. It's clumpy in here, but it tastes so good. Anyway, hey, Marc, always a Jevnikar, a longtime follower, supporter, whatever you want to call him. Appreciate the advice you give and the content you put out. I've followed you for years. This contest prep, I did a modified version of PHAT. 1 heavy upper day, 1 heavy lower, and the other 4 days were hypertrophy style. Hitting everything 2 times a week worked great for me. Got stronger during my 30-week prep and kept great size. Then do that. That's a great training program. I've never had anything against PHAT. In fact, the original PHAT, I believe, the program that I saw that was the original was by Derek Charleboy. Actually wrote a power hypertrophy split back in when I first hired them at Civation in 2000. Transition to the off season, down, currently reverse dieting. I switched to a simple 5-day split, training chest 2 times, mainly just because I got fucking sick of the old split. Sick of the sickety. Will taking the powerlifting style days out have any effect on muscle growth? I don't think so. Hypertrophy is hypertrophy as long as you overload the muscle. Like I said, you know, sometimes if I can go beyond fail, I'll pick a weight I can get 6 to 8 reps with, and sometimes if I'm in the zone, I'm having a good day, I'll get 20 or 30 reps. Just because I'm going high rep, does that mean that I'm not eliciting overload and muscle damage? No, it just means that my mind is able to take my body beyond failure. Excuse me, as long as you're eliciting overload and progressively overloading your muscles, you're going to be good to go. So I don't think the powerlifting days, however, don't take out the power lifts. Keep in the squats, keep in the deadlifts, keep in the pressing, keep in the overhead press, keep in all of those, because those are what build muscle. I don't care what anybody says, compound movements, in addition to overloading with single joint movements, that's what build muscle. But you got to keep those heavy compounds in, even if not to build muscle, just to make you a good old functional human being. As far as losing muscle because I'm training them one less day a week, or am I being a paranoid bodybuilder? Honestly, I see 1 day a week. I only train my muscles 1 day a week. I've seen the best. It's funny because we talked in the beginning. People say, oh, he's losing size. I'm not losing size. In fact, I've made the best gains of my life in the last probably 2 months. So I'm in a good spot, man. My marriage is perfect. Not traveling as much. I really can't say I've had a great run, but I think 1 day enough. You're truly taking it to your max, to your limits, beyond failure. That's good. However, twice a week, I don't see any benefit to training chest twice a week and everything once a week. I've done that. I did it for years in my arms, and while my arms have come up, they're still a weak point. They haven't caught up to my chest or my back. I think I would have been just fine training them 1 day a week like everything else. And that's what I've learned over time, and I learned it by trial and error. So I would definitely recommend maybe looking into a split. I'm okay with you hitting chest 2 times a week, but I wouldn't expect too much of it. You know what I mean? Whew, here's a long one. That's what she said. From Neni Ta. Neni Ta. Hey, Mark, love the BCAA's rich flavor, and I appreciate your videos. Well, thank you so much. I read your book and have some questions. I'm a 38-year-old female, 5'2", 156 pounds, have some issues with extreme carpal tunnel, which caused me to go light on my upper body. I want to know if you've gotten that checked, and maybe, I know Dr. Stu does a lot of good work with it, maybe acupuncture, light therapy, maybe things like that will help it. I'm sure you've exhausted all options. I'm trying to lean out. I had gastric bypass 10 years ago and feel like I'm almost to where I'd like to be physically. For those of you who don't know, gastric bypass, where essentially they either tie off or they cut part of your stomach, which makes your stomach smaller, which means you feel satiated or full faster. I want to lose 20 to 25 pounds by the middle of October, which I think is very doable. Current macros are 160 grams of protein, 140 to 160 grams of carbs, and 50 grams of fat. That comes out to around 1,600 to 1,750 calories. Your book doesn't cover calories and shows that a female my weight should take over 200 grams of protein. If I add more protein, I'll be increasing calories. Wouldn't I be bulking instead of leaning? Here's the thing about my book. My book is a general recommendation, and it starts at around 1.5 grams per pound of body weight, because as the diet goes on, you adjust that to go down to 1 gram per pound. So I would recommend, if you're with gastric bypass, it throws a whole different wrench in the tire spokes, if you know what I mean. Now, you can only fit so much food. However, I would start as high as you possibly can, because even if you gain a little bit, you could always adjust down, and the book explains how to adjust down. So I don't mind you starting at 1.5 grams. That's a little less than 1.3 grams per pound of body weight of protein, because that way when you go down to 1 gram, as you get into the diet, that's good to go. Are you still taking online clients? I absolutely am. I'm still coaching. My rates can be found at www.marclobliner.com. That's marclobliner.com, or go to lobliner.com and it redirects to that site. I typed your website, but it didn't work. It works now. It works now. We were fixing it 2 weeks ago, and it's up. And the link is always on the videos. I put it. It's on a little ad I put up. And it says go to marclobliner.com for coaching. From Nathan Pettit. So I've been following you for a little while now and have been taking about 200 to 210 grams of protein a day, 1 gram per pound of body weight. I've seen growth in my shoulders and biceps. Seems I've hit a plateau. Any recommendations? Well, Nathan, if you're trying to gain, I recommend you go to massdiet.com. That's MASS diet.com. And what that site will do is it'll show you how to increase your calories. Sounds like you're trying to bulk. If you're trying to bulk, aim to gain 2 pounds per month of lean mass, or 2 pounds of total weight. Because really, if you're gaining that slow, it's going to be mostly lean mass. And you got to train harder. I mean, if you've seen growth in your shoulders and if you hit a plateau, that just means you got to train harder, or you got to adjust things where you're progressively overloading. The thing is, you need to eat for your gains or your losses, and you need to progressively overload the muscle. The one thing that doesn't change whether you're dieting or whether you're bulking is you need to have progressive overload. You need to overload the muscle. You know, you'll see me, I've been posting on my Instagram lately, like I'm hitting PRs, but my PR will be like 125-pound dumbbells for 28 reps on dumbbell bench press, something silly like that, because the dumbbells don't go any higher. So it's just a matter of progressively overloading. So that's a PR for me. So my body's going to grow because instead of getting 26 reps with 125 pounds, I got 28 reps. And my body's going to elicit changes to stimulate the muscle, the hypertrophy necessary to accommodate that strength. That's why you need rest, guys. From Brian Longo, I think I did address this, but I will again. I grew up as a bowler and a baseball player. I ended up loving bowling more, so I spent a majority of my days when I was younger at the local bowling alley. So I ended up building lots of strength in my right arm and left leg because you use your right arm and then your left leg to finish. That being said, my right arm and leg are stronger than my left arm. Not only are they stronger, but I know for a fact my right arm is clearly bigger all around than my left arm, sadly. How do I balance it out? My thing is I would go and see a specialist to make sure there's no nerve issues. If they're that unbalanced still, maybe you've impinged something, okay? Or just train them normally. If you're doing dumbbell curls, do dumbbell curls. Do 8 on each arm. Whatever you do, don't train the weak arm more than the stronger arm because that can provide for size doesn't always equal balance, okay? That'll provide for some physiological differences that could lead to deleterious problems. So what I would recommend you do is train them both equally and hopefully they catch up. But you're looking at years and years and years of overusing one arm versus the other. However, all you could do is hopefully the lack of not having one arm more than the other will cause slight atrophy and also hypertrophy in the other arm and it'll catch up. And the body should neurologically, if you have nothing neurologically, and that's why I'm saying go see somebody and see if there's anything impinging on that. Neurologically, you should catch up. From Aaron Miller, when is the new MTS swag and hats coming in? We will have the new MTS shirts, the red and black that I already have. We're going to have a bunch of them in next week. It's in Ohio already. It's going to Vegas. These hats, we should have the week of May 12th. These hats should be in around May 12th. So keep an eye open for those, guys. Appreciate it. We have a whole line of performance clothing coming out. Real good. I'm talking custom design clothes that I had custom designed. And that should be out hopefully in the next 3 months. From Louis Martinez, when are you going to make Adobata protein? Never. From Mark E. McGee, after 3 injuries in 6 months, deltoid, hamstring, and calf. All on reps after heavy singles, bench, leg press, and deadlifts respectively. Good form. Thoughts, dehydration a possibility, subs you could recommend, doing Clash and Vasky. Thanks. Mark, I think you have an issue with deltoid, hamstring, and calf. With pillar prep, movement prep, and perhaps, you're doing heavy singles, man. You're doing that heavy single, you're damaging it, traumatizing it, and then you go high reps. Your body's exhausted. So, you take your body to that point where you're doing that 1 rep max, and then you're going to be like, okay, just rep it out. Your joints and tendon have already had enough for the day. They're like, dude, stop. There's enough. But I do think it could be a dehydration issue, could be a lot of issues. But the bottom line is it could be a warming up issue. I guarantee you what I do every morning, I got to film my new warm up. I'll have Katie do that next time I'm in town. My warm up is I still do the pillar prep, movement prep, but I've been doing 3 sets of 6 to 10 air squats, superset with 3 sets of 6 overhead. You take the doweling, work it over your head, take it back, work it over. And then I do 3 to 4 sets of overhead squats to work on that. I guarantee you, I'm so warmed up by the time I start that it would be really hard for me to get injured. Knock on wood. From Joe Sidlasek. Hey, Mark, just wondering if you and your team are still working on a revolutionary protein bar of some sorts. I remember you talking about something like this a while back. We're just looking for updates. Joe, it's not a protein bar. It's a cookie cake, and no one in this industry has it. It's going to be made not in a protein bar manufacturer, but in a bakery. In fact, we are partnering up and potentially long-term doing something bakery-wise, if you know what I mean, where we can accommodate this. So we are looking at essentially its instability testing at the University of Kentucky to make sure it has adequate shelf life, because there's no preservatives in this, and we want to make sure that it tastes good when it's at the end of expiration versus the beginning, which I'm hoping to get 13 to 16 weeks on the expiration. It'll be available only direct and through select retailers, and it'll be made to order, which means that you will probably have to pre-order and then we ship it to you. So I'm hoping 8 to 10 weeks, but I can't give you a final date because we're trying to establish the shelf life consistency. We're not just going to put it on the market and pray for the best. We're not going to pull and pray, bro. From Randy Lee Baker. Hey Mark, low blinder, what's your opinion on lifting heavy within the 3 to 5 rep range on a calorie deficit? I think it's fine. You got to elicit overload. Whether it's 3 to 5 rep or 10 to 12 rep, it's still overloading. At first, I would assume it wouldn't make sense to try to progressively add weight each week after we get in a certain lift. I don't see why not. If you can add weight on a certain lift, that'll prevent atrophy. Rather, should a person try to keep their weights consistent in any given core movement while in a calorie deficit? Well, I think unless you're below 6 or 5% body fat, I don't think that really plays a role. A lot of powerlifters diet down for meats and do just fine. So I wouldn't pay attention to it unless you're in contest prep. I'm talking 4 to 5% body fat. Randy, I don't think it makes a difference. Jesse Carr, supplements not including protein powder you recommend for a 15-year-old boy that's been lifting for only a month. Taller, skinny, super fast metabolism. Jesse, for a 15-year-old, I'm not legally allowed to recommend anything, but I will tell you, if you've only been lifting a month, get your food down. Get your food down, maybe a protein powder if you're not able to eat enough food to get a gram per pound. But honestly, at 15, if you're just starting lifting, get used to lifting before you start buying supplements. And lift and eat and figure those things out and then worry about the semantics of supplements. From Boston Bavkin. I see your name all the time. I've never had to say it, Boston. Cialis for pumps before training, 5 milligrams. Well, if Cialis truly lasts 48 hours, I think you can take it anytime in a 2-day period and it'll work. I believe it spikes at around 1 hour to 2 hours where it initially hits. Well, it's a blood flow. It's a vasodilator. I don't see, if you have a prescription for Cialis, the legality aside, I don't see why not. From Eric MacArthur, and then we'll call it a day. Hey, Mark, how do you stop the right inner side of your back tensing up more than the left during training? Try even hand placements on the bars while at dumbbells. However, massage therapists always tell me my right side is extremely tight and the left side is not. I'm right-handed. Pretty simple. You just got to live life with that foam roller, man. Get on that foam roller, roll it out. Get on the lacrosse ball, roll it out. Pillar prep will be your hero. Now, if you type in on YouTube, go to the search bar, type in pillar prep low blinder, Pillar prep and low blinder, and it'll take you to a pillar prep program. Now, one thing you want to do, you want to definitely position, if it's your right back, position the foam roller where it's vertical along your back and roll out the areas. You'll find the area that's tight and just sit there for 30 to 60 seconds. Okay, and then do the same thing with a lacrosse ball, which will be nice and completely targeted at the area that's tight. Okay, get that in there and roll it out. Might take you a good 10-15 minutes to get ready for training, but I guarantee you this. You start doing that and you'll be in a much better spot. And also, again, working out the shoulders, the overhead doweling movements, going over and back with the doweling, that'll be fantastic for that. But you just need to work it out. Massage therapists, you can't go off enough. I want you on that massage, on that lacrosse ball, and on that that foam roller twice a day for 15 to 20 minutes. One of them being pre-workout. Hope this helps you guys. Next one we'll be starting with Matt Rohrman, whose question was, just got peak physical. I want to know the best time to take it. Which, by the way, the best time is anytime. It doesn't really matter. We just put pre-workout or at breakfast. I'm answering it right now. And also, take it on non-training days. You take peak physical every single day. So just take it when you wake up every day with your morning pills, and you'll be good to go. Thanks for watching, guys. And that's not a game. So I'm looking at my email this morning. I get a mass email from one of the other sites that sell supplements that you're just a number to, right? They were bragging that one supplement line was free shipping. Bro, if you order over $99 in product in the continental US any day of the week, free shipping anywhere in the US, at continental USA. Free shipping on orders over $99 at tigerfitness.com. Why even look at the other guys? And also, we ship from Vegas and Ohio. Most places in the US are a 1 to 2 day ship. And that's not a game.